Welcome to the introduction to the Cim50 Graphical Scheduler. My name is Martin Connor and I'll be your host today on this webinar. Please feel free to make a note of my contact details and web address for further details on the Graphical Scheduler. So just take you through a bit of an agenda. It'll be about 30 minutes. I've got everybody on mute, but feel free to drop some questions into the chat and we will follow those up at the end of the session. So on the agenda, we're going to go through the introduction and benefits of the solution, the deployment. We won't get too technical on that, but just to give you an idea of how it's deployed. Key functionality. Talk about possible future enhancements. We have got a roadmap. You may be aware, a roadmap and wish list on our website. So if you are currently a Cim50 user, you can get registered on our website and you can view and add wishlist items and suggestions on there, and we can look to consider them for future releases. We then drop into a demo of the graphical scheduler, then talk about the commercials, and then any sort of questions, feedback, and possible next steps. So a bit of an introduction then. Okay, we came up with the graphical scheduler because it was our #1 wishlist suggestion. Okay, and it had been for a number of years, and due to sort of cost and complexity of scheduling solutions out there, it never really come to fruition. But we last year stumbled across a development tool which was cost effective and allowed us to use all of the data that's held within Cim50, such the data against bills of materials, resources, machine and labour, okay, the run times in their calendars, and the data that then gets pulled across to the works orders. So we licensed that solution. We developed the integration. It is fully integrated, and we feel that it fulfills our requirements and our customers' requirements, and with being not too complex because the data is already in Cim50 and a cost-effective solution. Okay, we will look to further enhance that. Okay, and move it forward into the future. So what are the benefits of the solution? Okay, so it allows you to oversee the shop floor operations. So as I said, integrated with the works orders within Cim50, allow you to plan your production, okay, get control of that production, be able to sort of visualize that across your factory or your workshops, etc. Allow you to view and anticipate resource bottlenecks, overloads, conflicts, load imbalances, and ultimately fine-tune your production plan to meet your customer due dates, and hopefully not cause too many problems on the shop floor. So from a deployment point of view, it is web enabled. It's hosted locally on your server. Okay. It is multi-user. Okay, we feel that it's an intuitive user interface, and it is also device agnostic. What that means is that you could run it on a laptop, you can run it on a tablet PC, tablet, or whatever you want to, as long as it has access to your server. It is a standalone installer, and it does require Cim50 version 2024 or above. So if you're currently not using that latest version 2024, there is a service pack 1 as well, which it fully integrates with as well. You would need to upgrade. It is, as I said, fully integrated with the Cim50 works orders, and all of the data is held within the Cim50 database. We don't hold any data within the graphical scheduler itself. It's just a visualization of the data which is held within Cim50. Okay. We license it and we set up access rights within the control panel, so only you know, if you need, it needs to be licensed, it needs to be given access to the certain areas of the graphical scheduler. It's all fully configured within Cim50. So we utilize, as I mentioned before, the labor and machine resources, resource groups, and there's different ways that we can handle groups. So if you've got multiple resources or machines that can do the same thing, there's various methods. We've got calendars within Cim50, so that's taken into account as well. It does have a certain level of customization. That would be something that some of it you can do yourselves if you've got that sort of ability internally, or ourselves or your partner, CIM software partner, will be able to do that for you to add additional works order fields. So if there's an analysis code that you've got set up, then you want to group works orders by that analysis code, then that is possible. You can also change the color coding. So we've come up with some color coding for overdue works orders, conflicts, subcontract operations, those sorts of things. So you can change that color coding to meet your needs. That is possible. So key functionality then, we've talked about the benefits. So on the functionality point of view, we've got resource conflict management. So where there's a conflict, the system will highlight that to you. Okay, so that you can overcome that. That is with some dynamic color coding of those conflicts of the works orders. So if you've got an overdue works order or operations that conflict on a resource, then that would be highlighted to you with some color coding. Resource utilization, so you can see if you're over resourced on a particular resource, or you're over committing on a particular resource, or you've got available capacity on a particular resource or group. We've got subassembly pegging and dependencies. So what the system won't allow you to do is to start a finished item before a subassembly has been completed. Okay, it just won't allow you to move any of the operations from the finished item earlier than the last operation of the subassembly. We've got grouping, searching and filtering, so you can group by resources, you can group by works orders, maybe that you use projects, or you're using an analysis code on works orders and want to group like items together, then we can do grouping within the scheduler. You can review works order details and operation details, so dates is always important. Operation notes, so you could drill into the operation and see exactly what needs to be done against that operation. You can lock works orders and operations, so the scheduler won't move those around. You have to schedule around a particular works order or operation. Okay, and there's a two-way integration. So we pull the data into the graphical scheduler. You manipulate that data to overcome those conflicts and those overloads, okay, to meet the demands of your customers. And then once you're happy with that schedule, you can then pass that data back to the Cim50 solution, and works order dates and operation dates will get updated for you. So as far as sort of possible future enhancements are concerned, and again, we're taking feedback from customers and prospects, is that we are looking to do the scheduling and actioning of MRP recommendations. Currently, we're just scheduling works orders, which is firm production, if you like, but we are looking to put some options in there to be able to schedule MRP make recommendations. We want to include resource maintenance, downtime and holidays. That's probably the highest feature enhancement which is on the list, and is probably will make the next release. We want to include a web-enabled work to list. So there is a work to list within Cim50 which would get updated when you pass the data back from the scheduler. Okay, but what we want to do is include one within the graphical scheduler so that we can maybe put it up on a wallboard or something like that. The ability to split operations. Maybe you want to move or put half of a job down one resource and half down another resource. So give you the option to split an operation across multiple resources. As well as sub-assembly pegging, we also want to look at component pegging, purchase order pegging. So we can't start a works order before the purchase order receipt, something like that. Okay. At the moment, it is just single company, but you can have multiple installs of a graphical scheduler, but we're also looking at possibility of having multi-company within the same interface and user roles. So giving people the ability to just inquire on the scheduler and not be able to move any of the operations and the jobs around. That may fall into the same sort of feature as the work to list. Okay, so what I'm now going to do is going to drop into a demo. It is a live demo, so I have got some pre-prepared data, hopefully that I can show off the features to its best of its ability, and take you through that now. Okay, so I've got the graphical scheduler. As I said, it does run in a web interface. Okay, so and I'm running it locally. So this would be installed locally on your server. And when I go into the graphical scheduler, it will pull the data as it sees it in Cim50. Okay. But I do have the ability, if I want to download the data. I can push the data back to Cim50, and I also have a different view. So this is the works order view, but I can also do see it by resource if I want to. Okay. We've got light and dark modes. We've got undo, redo buttons, and if you get lost, you can jump to today. Okay, so it will take me to today, right at the time that we're sitting on. So at the top of the screen in the works order view, I've got a list of works orders. You can see that I've got some fields in here. So the product code, the description, quantities outstanding, due dates, the customer and the sales order. So if these are linked to a sales order, then we'll be able to view that data. So you could group by sales order if you wanted to, or by customer if you wanted to. Over in the right hand side here, we've got the jobs are broken down into individual operations. And we can also see that there's a dependency here between a sub-assembly and a finished item. So you can see the arrows have moved through from one works order to another. We've also got some color coding in here. So the green means that the works order is good. It's going to be completed on time. Okay, so if we look here, it's got the 12th of April, but the due date is the 15th of April. Blue means that this is a subcontract operation. And orange means that this works order is going to be overdue. So here we can see that the last operation is going to be completed on the 18th, but we've got a due date of the 16th. Okay, so right away I can get to work on this and I can start to overcome these issues. Okay, you'll see that it may pick up, but this is slightly darker. That means that operation has been completed. So what I can do is I could move that right over to yesterday. I can move this operation across, start to pull these across. You'll see that it expands over the non-working periods, the weekends. So if I bring this one across into here, we can see that we've now overcome that problem. Okay, so this works order is now going to be completed in good time. Okay, so all of my works orders are going to be in good time. However, I can then now start to work my way down the screen to the resources. Okay, and I can see that I've got some conflicts. So I've got an exclamation mark here. Okay, my operations are in red. Okay, so I've got a problem that I need to overcome. So there's a conflict. And this is where I've started to use groups. So I've got an auto source group. So I've just said in the bill of materials that I'm not sure which auto saw it's going to go on to, so I'll just put it onto the group. And then when I schedule the jobs, I will decide which saw I put them onto. So what I can do is I can start to get to work and start to drag these down onto the saw that I want to do to carry out the job. So they've now turned green. Okay. An alternative way might be that I've got a multiple resources, okay, but I've got a group, but what they can do is I've set a default which drill I want these jobs to appear on, okay, to be done on. But what I can do is I could move it to an alternative. So if I grab hold of one of these, because it's in a group, it won't let me put it on a saw, okay, but it will let me put it on one of the other drills. Okay, so that's overcome that issue. Okay, the other type of grouping that we can do, we can see here that we've got the assembly area. So what I've done is we can see that we've got two jobs going through the assembly area at the same time. That's because I've told the system that I can have multiple jobs or a certain number of jobs, and probably I think in this case I have allowed two to be able to be scheduled at the same time, so there's no conflict. Okay. If I move down the screen, we can see that here that we've got the edging machine. I've only got one edging machine. Okay, so, and I've told it that I've only got one edging machine and only one job can go through the edging at the same time. So therefore I have a conflict. Okay, so what I need to do is what I can't do is I can't move it because it will keep pushing it back to where it was previously, because I've got some operations which are dependent on that operation. So what I can start to do is maybe move a couple of these operations across to the left-hand side. And if I scroll down, because the system remembered what I was trying to do, it automatically moved that operation across for me. Okay. So what you can see up the top of the screen here is if I've got an undo button and a redo button. So you can see there, it's if you like. Okay. So we move to the back top of the screen again, okay, just to show you the dependencies. So if I start to try and move this operation of the finished item across, it won't let me drop it earlier than the end date of the subassembly. Okay. What you'll see at the top here is I've got a subcontract operation. The way that that works is that whilst I haven't raised a purchase order, it will allow me to move that around. Okay. Once I've raised the purchase order from the subcontract area within CIM50, okay, I won't be able to raise it, move it around. It will be locked. Okay, because we have no influence really on the subcontractor. You'd probably need to call them up and say we need to move that. Then you would change the date on the purchase order and then maybe come back in here and move things around accordingly, unlock it, move it along to the relevant area. Okay. So that's the works order view. I'm not going to upload it to Cim50 because what I want to do is switch the view to show you the resource view. So because I'm not going to be uploading it, everything that I've done won't be pushed through. So we've highlighted that. And when I go to switch view, it does give me a warning to tell me that everything will be lost. So I'm going to move across to this view. Okay, the resource view. Okay, so if we look at the resource view, this is pretty much identical in the top half of the screen as the resource view in the works orders. Okay, however, what we've got at the bottom of the screen here, okay, is our utilization. So we can see if I highlight the auto saws, you'll see that it puts a blue box around it when I click on it so that I know where I am. Okay, we can see that we're over resourced here, and that's denoted by the red. But if we go to another resource, we can see that we're underutilized in certain areas. Okay, so as I start to move these around, of course, what's going to happen there is that the boxes turn green. Okay, and I can start to work my way down there. So if I was interested in maybe the fixed studs, then what it does is it will highlight that to me. So maybe I'm interested in packing area. It took me straight to there, and the bottom half of the screen moved accordingly. So if I go back to the drills, it will take me back up to the drill. So we've made it quite intuitive. If we've got lots of filtering, so if I'm maybe interested in a works order, particular works order, then it will highlight that to me. I don't think I've, so we've got 16. So I've come back then to the works order view. Okay, and again, we can see that the changes haven't taken place, so I can move those around. So that's a quick introduction demo to the scheduler. Okay, what I'm going to do is just sort of drop back to my slides. So on the commercial side of things, okay, it's treated as an additional module for CIM50. Okay, you do need to have works orders in place. You do need to have the works order module, and if you've got works order modules, you would need to either have quotations or bills of materials to feed the works order module. The price for that depends on the number of users and the number of current modules that you've got. Okay, so if you are interested in the graphical scheduler, please contact ourselves or your business partner. As far as training is concerned, it's quite minimal. You can see how intuitive the graphical scheduler is, but what we would do as part of the implementation, and we would uh, also pass these on to your partner, and they are available within the software, is we do have a series of reports, okay, built into CIM50, okay, which allows you to analyze your data and allows us to analyze your data to then give you feedback on what you may need to look at within CIM50. So it may be that you've not got calendars set up, or you've got resources missing, okay, from bills and materials, or you've not got groups set up, or you've got groups set up which haven't got resources assigned to them. So we've got a series of reports which can do that. It may be that you've not got runtime set up on your bills and materials. It will highlight those areas which need to be addressed. Okay, so then what we would then do is we would provide some training, or your partner would provide some training within CIM50, okay, to help you fill those gaps, and then help you to utilize the CIM50 graphical scheduler. Okay. It has been around for a little while now, for just over 6 months. We released it on the 1st of October. With our version 2024 release, has got made some good traction. We have got a number of sites which are using it, the Cim50 graphical scheduler now, so we're quite pleased with how it's going, and it's been very well received. That pretty much covers off today's webinar. Okay, if you've got any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. We will I look to answer those for you now, or if need be, take them offline. But if you have got any questions after today, please feel free to drop me an email, and further details can be found at our website, cimsoftware.co.uk/graphical-scheduler. Okay, we will look to record this as well. Okay, have recorded this. So we will look to send that out to the attendees or anybody who hasn't been able to attend today, so they can catch up with what we've got to offer. Thank you very much.